we get beat. Ooh, we didn't have our starting quarterback for the rest of the game. What would have happened? That was
a what if hurt.
You know. So
what about UT basketball? Have you ever historically gotten hardcore about that, or has it only been football?
I'm getting more hardcore.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm getting to be friends with our coach, Shaka Smart. I've gotten to know some of the young men on the team, and
you're starting to get in more.
And we're building an arena, which I'm
part of
culture in over there. The new arena where the men and women are going to play basketball.
I love that. What about startup culture? I know that a lot of my friends in startup culture have nice relationships with you. The Silicon Valley, the app culture. Like, where do you sit with technology?
I'm leaning and learning into it more now than I ever was before. Friends of ours, Guy Osiri, introducing me to things and learning a new vernacular is what I'm actually, there are a lot of startups in Austin that some of them I'm reaching out to that I like their product, and they're in Austin, and we could have some part and parcel partnership in between the two of us in a business that I'm starting there in Austin with the Minister of Culture work. So I'm learning more about it.
You're flirting more in that arena.
I'm definitely flirting more and understanding it. It's a new.
And if I asked you entrepreneurial spirit, where do you sit today at 50? Were you a lemonade stand? Was it more art and storytelling? Has it grown? Like
I'm more entrepreneur now than I ever was at 50, and it's part, to go back to another word you mentioned earlier. It's legacy choices now. So what are the choices that I can create? Like this Minister of Culture is a category that I assumed and created. A lot of people think it's political. I'm like, no, it's in the slipstream. It's about values, and it's bipartisan and non-denominational, and it can still also be a business. So at 50, I'm going, what choices can I make that I can hand off to my kids and they can hand off to their kids? That's going to be my shadow that goes on. And I don't know if I'll do more movies, but movies are capsulized. They're little pieces of time. I'm trying to challenge myself to go, hey, the big show is life. It's live. The recorder's always on.
But it's awesome that I watch a lot of people in all arenas just kind of completely walk away from a thing that was the major stepping stone. I've always liked the idea of I'll go back to movies, to me, I started a wine brand last year. I sold it recently, but I always kind of knew, even though I really needed to walk away from wine because it was all I did, that I would come back to it. But at that time, call it 2011 to 2019, I just didn't want to as much. And and even now I'm and I will again in 17 years, or, I think people close doors that is usually their first step, almost out of ideology, or out of not realizing that, cool, you're burnt out now, but don't put a final nail in the coffin. You don't have any clue where you might be in a decade mentally about that thing.
Right. Well, so you sold your wine, you were into it. It was a soul obsession. You sold it. Was that like your Yankees winning the championship that you put it away, or is it you have it sitting over there?
That one's a little sweeter. I started it only 18 months ago. So this is the winery, not my dad's wine store, which he still owns and operates, my family business. I started a winery 18 months ago. That one has a much more warm feeling in my soul. I had two partners in that business, Nate Schroeder and John Troutman. They started as interns for me a decade ago.
Okay.
So the story, of it just the thought that the collateral of my skill set could put these two young men who I adore, like younger brothers, in a position that changes the course of their lives, at least financially, which is only a piece of it, but a piece of it was too romantic to say no when the opportunity came. That drove me remarkably, in a very serious way. That's what drove that decision.
Well, so that door's always open. That there's no final trophy on that, because those two young men, you're gonna enjoy watching where they go and how they do it.
Even more fun, back to leadership and coaching. I've got 1,000 employees right now that I have at least 60 of my people in that ecosystem of wanting to rep. So that there's nothing more fun than loving people. Loving people is a in perpetuity game of happiness. Like, look, I often make jokes about not liking animals because I probably skew under most people with like dogs and other things, but I really believe it's because my love affair with humans. Like walking down the street, I have a warmth towards people, and I really recognize that most people don't go there.
Let's lean into this to where we are right now and where we're heading. All right. I got asked this the other day. Where do you lie on trust, McConaughey? And I'm like, I hadn't thought about it. And the person asked me, and I said, look, I'm talking to you right now. You have 100% of my trust until you don't.
Same.
I don't think enough of us are looking at the world that way right now. Major distrust and major disbelief, and you come in with zero until you earn it.
I hate that shit.
100%.
I hate that shit. I hate that. Who the fuck are you? Why are you so fucking audacious? Who the fuck made you special enough that another human has to earn it? Fuck you. Where's your humility? I'm 100% trust. As a matter of fact, I fight a lot of time. I need to work on myself to try, like when trust is broken, I'm still trying to come up with empathetic scenarios for the other person. Like, I would be very bad at baseball. I think I'm 7 strikes and you're out. Like 3 strikes don't even fucking register for me. And that's something. Now, what that's done is also created a subconscious resentment that I've had to become as I continue to go through my process. I'm like, oh, right. I think that it's 7 strikes and you're out. But what's happening is with each strike, there's a little bit of like, fluid going into that bucket of resentment. I might be able to eat it because I'm strong and I don't give a fuck, but I'm building it. So I have to be more thoughtful of having candorous conversations with people I care about so I don't get there.
Yeah.
That's my tweak.
I hear you. I can't allow 7 strikes, but I hear you. That's a resilience. You're going, no, I can handle it. I can handle it.
I really believe that.
If someone does scar me, and on the role of forgiveness and moving on, man, if I see a real sense of retribution and on their end wanting to go, hey, I bogeyed, I screwed up, I'm sorry. I'm very quick.
I love you for that.
I'm quicker than I forgive myself.
Brother, I love you for that, and that leads to foundational happiness. It just does. Real quick, because I know you have to run. Yeah. I'm just curious. You and social media. Do you use anything? Do you have any burner accounts that say McConaughey is actually awesome? Like, how do you roll with social? Like, which one do you like?
I started leaning in. I started Instagram just I think about a year ago.
Okay.
And I've been flirting with the idea for years.
Okay.
The thing that downs with me is I was going like, the rabbit hole of that conversation. I've got 3 kids, man. I got a family. It's like they offer me, they always come on, play fantasy football. I'm like, I don't need another hobby. I really don't, because I like it and I want to do it. And the whole Instagram thing, I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to like it a lot and I'm going to do it too much. So I came out and I remember my opening. I said, look, this is going to be a monologue, guys.
Yes, it's a one-way street.
So I don't want to dive into late night looking at a comment on every single thing I said, because I'll feel it. And I want to engage in it and get back to the conversation. So I'm choosy about where I have the conversation.
Nice work, Dustin. Do you find yourself following certain people or certain accounts and getting a little bit of like escapism value from it?
A little bit.
Or is it mainly I'm in the mood to say something and I'm going to just say it and it's a monologue and I'm out?
It's mainly I'm in the mood to share something. Hey, this is a pulse I'm feeling out there in the world right now. This is a pulse I'm feeling in America, or something that's going on in my life. I'd like to share this. I will then re-engage with certain people that I will follow or listen to and check in with. But I don't have it. I'm not ready to have that, nor do I know if I ever will be, to have that on my proverbial good morning. Now let me go sit down with my IG world. Because, like I said, I got 3 kids and a wife and a job, and I like my own solitude, and I'd rather do as much as I can live here as I can.
October 20th.
Yep.
That's the date.
That's the date. Green lights. And that's the idea, man. How can we create more of them for ourselves and others? As you said, be selfish and selfless at the same time. Those are not contradictions.
No,
we can make the choices that are best for the I, that are also best for the we.
The second you get best for the I, your ability to be a champion of we exponentially grows.
Boom.
Right?
Boom. And where are we misinformed on that? I don't know where along the way people
There's a
misinformed.
lot of things. There's so much. Listen, this is why communication, videos, books, monologues, or somebody like me that posts and spends 8 hours engaging. Like, this is why we need all different versions. One sentence in that book can change the way someone looks at it. Vayner Nation, I know that I have a lot of pride in this. A lot of my friends or just people that have randomly emailed me, the book PR community very much knows this has been a show that is a substantial driver, and it's because you're curious. And I think if you re-listen the first 10 minutes, clearly if you're getting value out of me, I have some serious confidence that you're going to get value out of this book. So Greenlights, October 20th. Make sure you pick it up. McConaughey, thank you so fucking much for being on the show.